guys, this is Raquel with Paints and Glitter, and today I just wanted to share a project that I'm working on with you guys. I know that you've seen probably 1,000,001 flower tutorials, but I just want to go ahead and show you guys what I'm doing here. Yesterday I posted on Instagram a picture of some of these flowers, and they're all handmade, and I'm working on a few more, and I figured I should show you guys what I'm doing step by step. I started off with either pink paper, in this case here. So this was just a pink piece of paper, if you see the back, light pink. And then on some of them I started off with white paper, which is, these are the most recent ones that I'm working on. And then this was also a very light pink paper. And to achieve the look for these flowers, what I did was that some I cut out with these dies that I have here, and I'm not quite sure if they came as a complete set. I can't remember right now, but you guys have probably seen these all over the place. These are from AliExpress. So these dies here are the ones that I used for, let's see here, these flowers. Okay, see how there's 5 petal flower there, and the centers here are made with this one. Then these flowers as well. Okay, so you see that how different they are one from the other. And here what I've used in the center, just to show you, let's see if I can focus. See how it's a little bit shiny and it looks like it's also wet? I used Nouveau drops, and this one is actually a jewel drop. So I used that one, and the particular color here is Strawberry Coulis. Then for, let's see here. So that's those two styles. Okay, and then others with this one, what I did was I used a pearl center, as you can tell there. And again, that's also using these dies here. Then for the ones that I've been working on today, which are these here, and these are also two different styles, if you can tell the way the petals are shaped. Here's a better close-up. So these I've made, the centers are exactly the same. The difference is the way the petals are folded. And for these I started off with a white piece of paper, just as you see here in the background. And then what I did was, for the petals, I painted them differently. So you see some of them are a little more lavender, and the other ones are just, all it has is like a pink border, but they all have glitter on them. So what you use to color them, see how I colored these? What you use to color them is up to you. I've used alcohol markers to give the striations on these. Let's see here, I've used Distress inks. For these guys here, the ones that started off with the pink paper, I used Abandoned Coral to get this look. Okay, and then I also used yellow for those. Let's see, I don't have that yellow out, but it is also Distress inks and oxides. And then I've used spun sugar and seedless preserves. So this one, because it's such an intense color, all I did was add water, and that's how I've gotten this color here. And for the edges on that, to intensify the edge, I used an alcohol marker in pink. So that's how I achieved that look. So basically what you do is you cut out your petal shapes. Oh, and then for these petal shapes, just to clarify, for these I used my Cricut, and that was super easy because I just fed an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper into my Cricut. I selected the flowers, and these are a free file, so if you are interested, let me know. I can go ahead and link that below. And it cuts out this larger one, the medium size one, and it cuts out the smaller one. Let me just put that one down. Cuts out the smaller one, and then it cuts out 2 even smaller ones, but I didn't want to deal with those because they're so itty-bitty that I didn't think it was going to be helpful. That I knew that by using 2 in this size, which is large, 2 in the medium size, and 1 in the small, that I was going to be okay to make the flowers that I want to make. So the size of these flowers in particular are 1.5 inch diameter for this size. This one goes down to about 1 1/16, if that. and then these are 3/4 inches. Okay, so it's a gradation. So if you're going to make flowers without the Cricut, just make your largest flower about 1/4 of an inch larger than the medium, and so on and so forth. And then that way they fit precisely as they should, okay? So to start off, what I'll do is, I'm going to move these aside. Oh, and then you can even make the little bitty ones. I don't think I mentioned that. See how small these are? You can make these little bitty ones. And of course I have glitter everywhere. So, stands to reason. Paints and glitter. If it's not paint, then it's going to be glitter. Alright, so I'm using this cushy pad. If you've never made these flowers before, just find yourself either a mouse pad or something really cushy that's laying about. This is actually meant to clean old rubber stamps, so I've had this in my stash for, I don't know, 10 years or so, maybe more. And then I'm using these tools by McGill. I highly recommend these. You can find these on Amazon or at local craft stores in your area, more than likely. They have these tips here that are graduated in sizes. Sorry about that. The largest one here, let me see if I can focus, is 8 millimeters in this case, and this is the one that I'm using today. I'm not using the smaller ones, and then I'm also using the tweezers that come with this. Now these tweezers are very strong, and they're reversible tweezers, meaning that if you squeeze, it's actually going to let go of the paper, but if you let it go, it'll hold on to the paper, and these come in real handy. I also wanted to let you know that all of these have a glaze over them, and that's why I was able to put glitter on them. This one's not cut out perfectly, but if you see, there's a matte side to the paper and then there's a shinier side aside from the glitter. That's because there is a glaze on them. So you can use a glaze medium if you have one. You can also use, if you don't have a glaze medium, you could use Mod Podge. That's another one. And Liquitex makes varnishes. So if you want a matte finish to them, you can use a varnish. Or you can use a glossy one, because Liquitex makes a glossy one also. And that's what you're going to be able to use on your paper so that it doesn't tear apart when you're manipulating it. So, or the Mod Podge, either one. So what I do is first, as you can tell this paper is cupped, is that I take the petals and then I put them shiny side down, or the back side of it, and then I just run the tool to start breaking down those fibers. And I'm not too terribly particular. The idea is just to make it cup like so. So I'm going to zoom in actually. Sorry for moving the camera, but so once you get that little cup formation, it'll look like that, right? Then what you can do is you can take the tweezers at this point, and say you want to go for, let's see, let's go for this one here. Okay, it looks more like a rose. Then you can take the edges of this particular petal, and that's the same one that I use on that flower, and just take the edge and roll it away from you. And this is where this tool comes in real handy. So I'm left-handed, so I automatically start off with that side of the petal because I'm just rolling away. And then when I roll away like that, I squeeze the paper just so that the paper starts having, you know, that little memory to it, if you will. Okay, once you have all of those, flip it over, grab the opposite side, and of course I do have glitter all over the place. And then do the same rolling motion, but because you're using the back side of the paper and you're rolling the petal down, then in this case you're rolling toward you, like so. And okay, so once you've got all of those, if you see, that's what it ends up looking like, which is not too pretty, but you'll see there's a method to this madness. You can use 2 of the large petals. Not get too close to the camera. Let's see, so that way you guys can see. And this, again, these tweezers make all the difference in the world. If you don't have these, you can use tweezers. Sorry, I can't say it. Honeybee tweezers. There. It's a brand. You can use those also if you don't get a hold of these. And then you can use anything that's got a rounded tip to do the rest, so long as it's not something that's going to pierce through your paper. So there's 2 of those. Then my medium-sized petal, I'm going to try to stick with the same colors, so let's see, let's do 2 of these. This is the medium-sized one. I'm going to do the same where I'm just trying to grab just that one side of it. Be careful not to tear the paper. There's that. Okay, then flipping it over and rolling it again, and if that rips a tiny little bit, don't worry about it, because you can layer your paper so that it can't be seen. It's just a little bit harder to do when I'm trying to look through the phone and not the actual petal. So what you can do is color them all at, obviously cut all of the flowers at once, then color them all at once. It goes a lot faster that way. By no means would I recommend that you do this individually, because it is time consuming. So okay, so now that you've got those folded, that's going to be your center petal, and then the very last one is going to be one of these smaller ones. So I'll just go ahead and use this one, even though the color is quite intense, but that's okay. And then you're going to follow the same thing here, rolling away. And of course this is much smaller, so let's see here, just like that. If you want to, you can flip it over and roll the other side if you like. If not, that's okay. In this case, you don't have to. But there's that. Okay, now this one you're going to leave with the wrong side up. Okay, the other ones you want to make sure you have them shiny side up, and I'll show you why now. Because now what you're going to do is take that stylus and press the center of your flower, and then this is going to cause it to curl up. This is when I take the hot glue and just place a tiny little dab in the center. Pick up your second flower and alternate it. You can switch over to the smaller stylus point there, because you only need a small amount of pressure. I'm not trying to squeeze it too much. And then so on and so forth. What you want to make sure that you do is that you alternate each time. Okay, and it's okay if not all of the petals are the same exact color. What you want to make sure is that you do get it as centered as possible. Oops, sorry, I was out of frame. So let's try to get the next one. And as you see here, I've alternated the petals. And sometimes you have to press quite firm. But doing it on this surface helps it so that it keeps that shape. So if you see that, okay, there's your flower. Now what you can do is you can either curl out the petals a little bit if you want to, or you can leave them folded. That's up to you. Okay, so you can fluff out that little flower a little if you want. Then this one, just press the center on the wrong side of it. Here we go, out of frame again. So you're pressing it on the wrong side of the paper, and then you can start pushing it toward the center, allowing the petals to overlap each other. So basically what you're going for is that center here, like so. Now some people, they like to use a little bead in the center. You can do that if you like. You keep forming it, and then on the bottom you're going to get a square. Okay, so what I do is I try to keep pressing it with my thumb as I'm pushing those sides together, and that kind of helps. Alright, now once you have that little shape, just make sure that you adhere it. And this one is a little bit more difficult just because you can burn yourself quite easily. So let's make sure I'm in frame. Alright, so once you've got that little shape there, you can hold on to it for a minute. Alright, you've got your shape there. Now these little corners, these little corners here, you can try to aim at the very fold of those petals. So I'm going to put my adhesive there. Try to get rid of that. And then take that little corner and try to aim it into where the petals fold. There we go. Just like that. Alright, and then you can fluff up your flower like I said before. You can add leaves to it if you want. Now, because I've added so much glitter to these, mine are requiring a little bit more glue, so if you see that, let's see here. Yep, I need a little more adhesive, so I'm going to do that again. And just make sure that I have more glue on that. And of course, you can work faster if you're not filming. That helps. But allow yourself, let's see here, the flexibility of moving those petals around as you need. And then if you don't like the center to be like this, then you can definitely add a little pearl, as I did over here. Let's see here. Now this one I folded the petals differently, but there's your other option, of course. Or you could add a little gem, whatever you like. Maybe even a little button. Sometimes I've added the little antique buttons in the center. And there you have it. So hopefully this video has been helpful to you. Please feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm going to keep plugging along, and I'll go ahead and post pictures later when I'm done. And like I always say, I hope that you can be inspired and be blessed. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.